President Trump has come out very positively predisposed to certainly Bitcoin, but we think everything crypto, DeFi or decentralized financial services. And so that's going to be very exciting. But the regulations are also going to change. I think the regulatory cutbacks are going to be profound. In his first administration, President Trump said to regulators, you want to put in a new regulation? You have to take away 2. I think that he'll be even stronger on that.
Bitcoin is headed for a massive price surge, driven by pro-crypto policies and groundbreaking innovations. That's the latest word from Cathie Wood, the CEO of Ark-Invest. In a recent update, she predicts that Bitcoin could be on the verge of a major surge, and Trump's pro-crypto stance might be the catalyst. With his support for Bitcoin and DeFi, Cathie believes a Trump return could ignite fresh investor interest, fueling Bitcoin's rise. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as Cathie Wood reveals more important insights about her prediction. Also guys, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy staying up to date with finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind. Now here's Cathie Wood on Bitcoin and the administration.
So let's talk about macros first. In the early days of the Reagan administration, there were back-to-back recessions and interest rates hit 15%. And that was a very difficult environment for investing. Well, President Trump is coming into office when that part of the equivalent in the Reagan administration has been done. And I remember after that, the 80s and 90s were the golden age of active equity investing. And I think we're going back there. First of all, in terms of the controversy, a deficit back then, after back-to-back recessions, 5.5%. The bond market was apoplectic about that. Investors were as well. And what they didn't understand is that the Reagan policies of tax cuts, along with lower interest rates, caused by Volcker, moving from double-digit interest rates to something much lower, that those were going to be very positive for economic growth, and that we were going to grow our way out of the deficit. That growth out of the deficit started in the 80s with the Reagan administration and finished in the 90s with the Clinton administration, taking us into a surplus. We think we're going to experience somewhat of the same thing this time around. The tax cuts, we believe, are critically important, especially if Trump makes good on his tariff promise. Now, I'm not a big fan of tariffs myself, but if we're going to pair tariffs, not on our free trade partners, but on those countries that really are not giving American goods and services a level playing field, but we counter them at home with lower tax rates for consumers and businesses. That's a trade-off. That's a good trade-off. And so I don't think the criticism about tariffs is going to play out in terms of 100% across the board. That's not what we're talking about here. I think President Trump is very pro-growth, and he's not going to do anything to impede growth in that way. What will happen to interest rates here? Now, this is a little different from the 80s. Interest rates were so high at the beginning of the 80s, 15%, that really, if the Reagan administration got anything right, those interest rates would come down. And they certainly have. Now, 45 years later, they are high relative to recent history, 5% on the Fed funds rate. And they are restrictive relative to where we see inflation going. So we do believe there will be a downward pressure on interest rates, maybe even more than many investors expect in the near term, because I think a lot of activity is going to be held back by, a desire to understand how policies are going to change in the future. If we believe tax rates are going to come down, we're probably going to wait. If we're businesses and consumers, this is classic. It even happened during the Reagan administration when he phased in tax cuts over 3 years. Most people just waited until the tax rates were at the point he had promised. I think interest rates will be biased to the downside. Thereafter, I think we're going to see an explosion in productivity growth. That's what the convergence among the major innovation platforms around which we've centered our research. So robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omic sequencing in the healthcare space. Those platforms are converging and we believe are going to unlock explosive productivity growth, explosive GDP growth, and much lower than expected inflation, because all of these platforms are deflationary. They're technologically enabled, and that's good deflation. As prices fall, units explode, and it's really important. The reason we give our research away, it's important for investors and individuals and businesses to get on the right side of change, because these are transformative technologies. So in terms of government policies, perhaps the most profound thing that's going to happen in the very near term is a changing of the guard at some of the regulatory agencies, the SEC and the FTC. The SEC menace to the digital assets movement. We've lost a lot of talent to other countries because of Chairman Gensler. And I think that's going to change. We know it's going to change. President Trump has come out very positively predisposed to certainly Bitcoin, but we think everything crypto, DeFi or decentralized financial services. And so that's going to be very exciting. But the regulations are also going to change, because we're probably going to see Lina Khan at the FTC leave her position. And of course, the strong-armed antitrust regulations that Lina Khan has abided by, those are going to go away. They've prevented mergers and acquisitions that we absolutely need. Large companies are looking at these smaller companies innovating and perhaps being very disruptive to their models, and they'll probably want to get some of that DNA into their companies. I think the regulatory cutbacks are going to be profound. In his first administration, President Trump said to regulators, you want to put in a new regulation? You have to take away 2. I think that he'll be even stronger on that.
Over 219 pro-crypto candidates have been elected to Congress, making this the most crypto-friendly government we've ever seen. Investors are extremely excited, as this is a massive win for Bitcoin and the entire crypto space. With so much new support in Congress, Bitcoin is positioned for its next major surge. The push for regulation is set to create a more stable environment, attracting more investment and making the crypto space safer for both investors and developers. This is the foundation Bitcoin needs to explode in value and gain mainstream adoption, and Bitcoin's finally getting it. Now let's go back to more impactful insights from Cathie Wood.
And of course, when it comes to government spending, he's inviting Elon Musk into or under the tent. Now, the deficit will go down, we think, because of growth, but also we think the inefficiencies in the government are extreme. And we do believe that Elon Musk, first principles-based white sheet of paper, will figure out ways through attrition in terms of headcount and technology, productivity gains, to really shrink the government as a percent of GDP, getting a lot of the waste out of the government. And of course, every president has promised that. I think this one will deliver with the help of Elon Musk. We do not believe that Elon's going to be leaving his companies. We do believe he'll put in place a process that will be reinforced by some of the people who will be attracted to this goal and want to be a part of helping him carry it out. So there we go. That's the macros. In terms of innovation, we think it's been brewing really for since the last 25 years. The seeds for everything we're seeing today were planted in the years when active management was in full stride. The 20 years that ended in the late 90s, the internet revolution. And since then, we think that government policies have impeded a lot of innovation, but behind the scenes, the seeds have been flourishing, and now we think the blossoms are out. Innovation is going to thrive now in this new environment, and we think the three biggest opportunities right now associated with the convergence of these technologies are in the autonomous mobility space. So everything, robo-taxi, drones, and so forth, healthcare, and digital assets. On the other hand, the multi-omics revolution space and strategy has been pummeled in the past year. And I think it is for a couple of reasons, certainly regulatory, no M&A, but also a profound misunderstanding of what innovation is going to bring to the healthcare space. It will be transformed perhaps like no other sector. It is the most profound application of artificial intelligence that we see out there, curing diseases. And I just have to tell you, in learning what the financial markets, how they perceive these companies that are curing disease. This is not about the future. It's happening now. CRISPR Therapeutics is a company whose drugs have been approved in both the U.S. and the UK and Europe, as a matter of fact. Those three areas, curing sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. And many analysts are not interested in these spaces. Rare diseases, too small. Cures, one and done. There's no annuity. We need chronic sickness to get these annuity drugs out there to control the symptoms. We're astonished as we think about the kinds of analysis that is treating this space so badly right now. We think that's going to change. We think that's going to change magnificently in the years ahead. And on the digital asset front, I mentioned that Bitcoin is very much a part of this administration's plans, including building a strategic reserve. We're very excited about that. We think that this is the layer of the internet that the developers in the early 90s did not build in. And we were at risk because of the SEC of losing this next big wave of the internet, all around commerce, financial services, digital property rights. And now we think this administration is going to bring that innovation back home where it started, and we're going to ride that wave again. So we're pretty excited about what has just happened from an innovation point of view. We think that deregulation is critical, and really allowing innovation, one of the biggest runs it will ever have in history now that these technologies are ready after 25 years of germinating.
As Cathie explained, she thinks we're on the verge of a huge breakthrough for Bitcoin, tech, and healthcare, especially if Trump and Elon Musk get involved. Wood believes Trump's pro-crypto stance and a potential collaboration with Musk could cut government waste. letting big ideas like Bitcoin and AI really take off. In her view, this could mean a surge for Bitcoin and bring massive changes to the way we approach finance, healthcare, and even government. According to Cathie, 3 big areas stand to grow: autonomous tech, healthcare innovation, and digital assets like Bitcoin. She's convinced that if the government gets out of the way, these sectors could explode, transforming everything from financial systems to healthcare. Wood says this is a chance for people to get involved in what she calls one of the most exciting innovation waves ever, that could drive Bitcoin price up faster than ever before. Anyway guys, before we go, if you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, make sure to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 50,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that it provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.